Hey, how are you?
Specifically with the bullpen, not just today, but throughout the course of the first week or so, what do you think has been the problem with the approach guys have as soon as they come in the games? A number of guys have struggled to find the zone in their first 5-7 pitches.
I think they're really amped up. We've taxed our bullpen a little bit before today. Speaking before today, obviously, I think, prior till today, they pitched really well, but they've all come very amped up, not calming their nerves down a little bit. I think what could help a little bit is once we establish roles, and I know that we've used these 7 days to kind of establish roles, and we've seen that our starters could kind of give us some length. They may know when they're coming in a little bit easier, and I think that may help them prepare a little bit better.
Is there any way to kind of establish roles with a game like today, though, where you had to basically have a bullpen game, find which guys could take as many innings?
Yeah, a game like today got away from us from the beginning. This was our first bad start, obviously, by Hansel. It got away from us so early we couldn't use our guys. We had Levine, we had Bod ready, we had Webster ready. The only reason why we threw Meyer at the end is just because today's his bullpen day leading up to what potentially going to be a Tuesday start for him. So, it got away from us so early that we weren't able to use the guys we wanted to use. And then we kind of started trying some of those two-way guys to see what they're capable of doing and get Boyd out there, which I think was the one positive out of all this, seeing him go out there for 2 innings. And once we could start stretching him out, then I feel really good about potentially getting him back in the starting rotation, which will give us a chance to put another guy in the pen to help us out.
How fast do you anticipate that happening?
I'm hoping he starts next week. He threw 2 innings today, and I told him once he gets to 3 innings, I'll try to give him a 3-inning start. So, I haven't really discussed it with Coach yet, but in my mind, I'm hoping he gives us 3 innings next week in San Diego. I think it'll be a nice weather, and it'll be good for him to have the full preparation leading up to it.
Speaking of Boyd, what did you see from him today? What did you like, and what made him effective for those 2 innings tonight?
He's a competitor, and I know you guys have heard me talk about this, but I love experience, and as you could see early on, it's the experience wins. So he's a competitor, has plenty of experience. He's been out on that mound before. He's not going to let the moment get too big for him. So just because he's done it so much, I think even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he knows how to get through innings, which is really important.
Willie mentioned the necessity to keep everyone's confidence high through this tough stretch. How do you specifically do that with the pitching staff?
Yeah, today just got out of hand for us. What they have to understand, and they got to realize it got out of hand, and they got their butts kicked, and they got to soak on it a little bit. But come Monday, they got to understand that if you throw today out the window, they've actually thrown the ball pretty well. And we've had some mishaps at the back end of games, but the starters have been terrific. Some of those middle guys get a chance to get Glenn back. So I think once we're able to piece things together and know who's back, I do like what we have moving forward.
How important is it for you guys to really identify a consistent path from the time the starter comes out to the 9th inning? How close are you to doing that?
Really close. I think we know who we want to use. We haven't been in every game able to use who we want to use because, again, we've had to use. Bod has been in 4 out of the 5 games leading up to today, and he had been hot in every single one of them. So we know what his role is going to be. We know what Peary's role is going to be. We just haven't been able to put them in those roles because we've had to use so many guys early on. And that's because of the pitch count, too. We're going to keep our guys healthy. That's the bottom line. The last couple of years, it's been, some injuries have happened here, and we're going to err on the side of caution because it's all about how we finish, not how we start.
What do you see from the bullpen when it's doing well versus, I'm sure it's about throwing strikes, right? But as far as the mindset, what's the message to them after good performances versus bad performances?
They're competing. The message stays the same. Honestly, yesterday I thought Brock competed. He did. He got the first 2 guys on strikeouts, then he got 2 weak singles. I think his one mistake, and if we could all have it back again, was hitting the left-handed hitter. And I was looking at the film, and the ball was not a poor pitch that he made with the triple down the line. So the biggest thing for me, and I told him, I said, today wasn't your fault, or I told him yesterday, today wasn't his fault. He competed. That's all we could ask for, is for him to compete. They have to calm down a little bit in certain situations. I think the one thing I did notice with Peary and other guys that have come in, as the game is about to close and get closer, those outs start getting to 4 outs left, 3 outs left. They start amping themselves up a little too much, and he did the same thing in that inning, going a little faster. We got to slow ourselves down, and just kind of get back under control on the mound and make sure they execute pitches.
Coach, what did you see from Blake today that you really liked?
From Hansel?
Blake Pivera.
Oh, Piv, okay. Well, Piv, he's got good stuff. He just hasn't been on the mound, is the deal. So we tried to get him back out there again. If it was a closer game, we weren't going to do that. But he's a 3-pitch guy. He obviously didn't throw the ball well today, but it was good to get him on the mound for future games. Some of these guys that have never really stepped foot on the mound or are new to pitching or two-way guys, we just got to get their feet wet, as we get going and get closer to Pac-12 play.
You say that you want to kind of balance in terms of pitch count and making sure that they're healthy. What does the balance look like in terms of being aggressive and trying to win games earlier and kind of making sure they stay healthy?
The balance looks like with Tully, we stretched him further than I would like, but he did not have a lot of stressful pitches leading up to those extra pitches. So I wanted him to go 90. I think he went 13 over that. And had the previous 2 innings been stressful, I would have fought to take him out of there. But because they weren't stressful, I think that we were giving him a chance to go back out there. So I just, there's a difference between 1, 2, 3 innings, 12 pitch innings, or I threw 15 pitches with a runner on second and third and had to execute certain pitches to punch a guy out and get out of the game. Those are stressful pitches. And sometimes when you run guys back out there, that's when the breakdown in health happens.
Getting their feet wet, is that how you're going to ensure that they stay calm during that? Is it just repetition so they don't get up on the mound and are antsy, or what are different ways that you can combat that when things do get tense?
Yeah, so with Piv, we wanted to get him on the mound for the first time. So when he's in the game, when it matters, this game got out of hand, obviously, but when it matters, he's been there before. He's, it's a lot to be said about the scenery. We had a good crowd today, the background behind him, what's going on in each dugout, the pitch calling, signals, everything. Sometimes the game speeds up on these guys. So just being able to do it once or second time around gets a little bit easier and easier and easier as they get going. Hence why I like the experience. Guys who've had plenty of it, they know how to slow the moment down. They know how to get the sign from the catcher, look at the guy at second base, process everything, and go. So the more experience they get doing that, the more they could just go out and let their talent play. Right now, some of our guys aren't letting their ability play. They're just getting caught up in the moment.
Do you think when they can do that, they go from being a thrower to a pitcher?
Absolutely. You hit it right on the head. And I believe that at the end of the day, it's how we finish, and I do feel confident that we're going to finish well with this group.